Fuck, is that on? Right. G'day, and welcome back to the Horus Heresy Ultramarines from scratch, where I talk about my experience in playing Horus Heresy, painting, models, and just the general ring roll and the progress of my army on a week-to-week basis. So, this is episode 71, and I am having a fucking mint time. As you can tell, I'm not at home again. My work has freaking taken me out to the middle of Woolly Whoop Whoop. And sitting out here in a tiny little freaking donga, painting some shit up. So, last week I got my 5 Thunderhammer and Plasma Terminators done. This week is the Melta and Chainfist combo and my Siege Master. These are all in the rough stages, so don't take them too seriously. They're not very pretty yet. They won't be pretty for a good long while. But this week has been spectacular. Fucking spectacular. I played on Friday, I played a 40,000 point game of Armageddon. My Ultramarines and Space Wolves and Raven Guard all fighting a mixed force of Thousand Suns, Death Guard, Night Lords, and World Eaters, and their army was led by Angron. And it was a fucking fantastic game. I enjoyed it immensely. It was really, really good. Long though. Long. I think we played well up until like 3 a.m. It was so long. I actually had my very, very first monster drink, like Monster Energy drink, and I thought my heart had died because I'm just not a caffeine drinker at all. But yeah, I had a great time, and everyone there was absolutely mint. Did raise a few questions about a few rules though, which I'm going to propose to you and ask you what you think, and I'll get you to get back to me and tell me your fucking opinions of them. First off, is that a character who has special abilities, is it fair just to pop that on the table and not inform the people that you're playing what that character's abilities are? Admittedly, in larger games like 20, 40,000 points, with everything on the table, you're just going to assume everything's going to kick ass to some degree. But do you inform your at the start of the game? You tell people what you've got and what you're playing. Do you go out of your way to tell them every detail? Like this Katie's next fella, who is what the miniature I'm talking about. He starts the game, if there's a unit in a building, he starts the game in a building, in combat, and, can freaking sit there and blow up a tank or freaking tie up a artillery unit, a heavy weapons unit, freaking in close combat so they don't get their shots off until he's dead or you've dealt with him. And he's actually quite a tough little bastard to deal with too. So, is that a character you would inform your opponent about at the very start, each and every time? Because, a lot of characters have super duper abilities. Like, the one that springs to my mind the most, who I've faced the most, is Khan. Now, you can take him in any size battle, but, at what point do you go to every single detail, or you just okay, we're playing a game, and this is a character who's just going to be an absolute fucking hemorrhoid, and you're going to have to deal with him at some point. Katie's next is definitely one of them. Khan, one. I've seen battle reports where Sevatar is one. He's just one, those characters, not like Primarchs, but just really hard to deal with characters. Do you take your time out to explain them at the start of the game what each and every unit does in large games? Or is it just, this is a large game, everything's going to be on the table, you're just going to have to deal with it? A bit of two minds. It depends on the time time frame of when we start, when we leave, and how quickly, how much time we've got actually at the shop for me. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting question. And the second question was about Deepstrike. Now I don't use Deepstrike, but a very 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 powerful unit called the Raven Guard Deliverers do use Deepstrike. And if you've ever faced a unit of 15 Deliverers, they are an absolute hemorrhoid. They are hard to shift, they are hard to move. They've all got battle hardened, so strength 10 doesn't strength 8 doesn't insta kill them. They usually got a couple of melters, like and power claws, thunder hammers. They're heavily decked out Terminators, and they've got the Raven Guard's Shroud Save, which makes them especially difficult to kill. Now they're an absolute fucking pain in the ass when they're on the table, and rightly so, because the bloke who's fielding them has paid a substantial amount of points to put them on the table. So when they teleport in, would you take the ability, if they teleported in and landed on a tank, and then had a disorganized teleport, would you take that ability to put them in a situation where when the rest of them come in, they all die? Or would you let them come in a place, where you're going to have to deal with them? Because that happened in this game, right? So there was a unit. I'm just going to use these as a marker, right? So this is a unit of enemies. The bloke brings his Terminators in there, scatters onto a tank. So the disordered roll, he's allowed to freaking move that someplace else. So he picks it up and he sticks it in the middle of this unit here, which is an enemy unit. So now that Terminator, they have the Deliverers now have to, all 15 of them have to come in, but within 1 inch of the first one that went down, but not within 1 inch of any enemy units. So, and if they don't get in any, if you can't place them, you don't use them. They just fall off the board. They're dead. They're freaking essentially no show. So would you consider doing that to a unit? Would you consider that a fucking fair play or a miserable play? I'm just curious if you would, and like I said, it's another big game. In a small game, yeah, I think that'd be a dick move. But in a big game, it's a valid way of getting rid of an extremely hard unit. But yeah, I'm just curious what your thoughts would be. I'm glad it didn't come down to me making that decision, because I genuinely don't know what I would have done. I mean, there's nothing more chuffing, pride enduring than when you actually manage to wipe out a unit of Deliverers with nothing but troops. But it does take up an awful lot of effort. So yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50 thing for me. But yeah, just curious about what you all thought about it, and I'd be keen to hear your answers. What else has happened? I'm considering heavily in buying another super heavy. I'm thinking about buying a falcion. Now, it's another super heavy with a big ass single gun, which makes it a lot different from the Fellblade. But that does a 5-inch template, strength 12 or strength 10, with AP1 and ignores cover. Now, that's really an anti-tank weapon, but it'd also be a very good anti-deliverer weapon, anti-Raven Guard weapon, anti-Terminator weapon. Oh, and if you put it on the board and you're fighting something substantial, you get maybe 2 shots off of it per first or second turn before something's close combat enough to actually deal with it. You could wipe out a good unit of, say, annoying Mordethians sitting in a freaking tower somewhere sniping off your bosses, or a unit of Deliverers, or a unit of Dark Furies, or I'm just thinking of Raven Guard at the moment. Yeah, you got to forgive me, but yeah, I'm thinking of a falcion because I think I think it looks like a great looking tank. My only issue is it hasn't got a turret, so it's only front arc only. But at 120 inch range, you can basically sit at the back of the board and just pot away at whatever fucking rocks up. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. If anyone's played with one of them, please let me know. How you'd rate it 1 out of 10. I did see the Outer Circles video on super heavies, and it didn't rate as good as the Fellblade, but sometimes you just got to go style over substance. Be a bit more, I just want something that looks good rather than is useful. But other than that, let's see now. I got a freaking delivery of a miniatures from Major Kill, who's a big fucking YouTuber, 40k YouTuber, which I'll show you all tomorrow. Not tomorrow, freaking next Monday. And I've got a small video of freaking, just a light, because the battle was so big. I'm not picking up the phone, putting it down, but I've got a couple of minutes of just the panoramas of this fucking 40,000 point game at the end of this vid. But anyway, that's it for me. Have a lovely day. Give your missus a kiss, and I'll catch you later. I'm going to finish painting these fucking 5 Terminators, and then I'll move on to the next, and then I'll move on to the next, and I'll be a happy little lamb painting away my little blue mans. Love a lot of you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all later. Cheerio.